Hey everybody, this is part 2 of my arcade series. Today we're going to look at the actual motherboards that I use to play different arcade games. So let's just jump right into it. Right here we have the Neo Geo MVS 1-slot motherboard. Now this is actually a consoleized motherboard, which means I can actually use this directly into my TV without the use of a super gun, or I can still use it with a super gun. Now the thing that arcade boards use normally to connect to a super gun or to an arcade is actually a JAMA connector. Now if I scroll in right here, that little piece right here, that little fingerboard right there, that's your JAMA connector. So that's what you're going to be plugging in if you don't have a consoleized system into your super gun, so you can output the video and audio controls to a television. So that's the Neo Geo version right there, 1-slot. The Neo Geo comes in a 1-slot. There are like two or three different models of the single slot. There's a 6-slot motherboard, and it may be a 4-slot motherboard. I'm not sure right now. Right here we have a Sega Naomi system right here. Basically, if you guys ever remember the Dreamcast, it's a Dreamcast with more memory, more speed. Basically here, it's not wired for JAMA. It is what we call JAMA 2 or JVS. Inside I already have a cartridge loaded, the much coveted Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Naomi. Of course, when we play it on home systems, you know, they're generally PS2 version, the Xbox version that came out, they're all on the disc. The advantage of this one right here, since it was on a cartridge, no loading times. I mean, the speed, the crispness, everything was there at your fingertips the moment you pressed the button. Next up right here, we have the IGS PGM system. I have it mounted on a piece of plexiglass back there just so that the components, the motherboard components, don't touch the ground ever. But basically this is the equivalent of the Neo Geo MVS system right there. This one generally got released a lot of Asian titles, a lot of titles in China. As a matter of fact, when you boot it up, the first thing you see on it, it says that this system should not have been sold outside of China. So basically a lot of good games here. There's one particular game called Martial Masters, has the animation on quality as Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and we know that one has some good animation with it. Below this, I have the PGM System 2. This is a new system that recently just debuted. I want to say within the last 2 years. I have in it loaded King of Fighters Ultimate Match 98 Hero Edition. That's the newest version of it, and it's only on the PGM2 system right now. Of course, we have some Ultimate Match versions on the Japanese PS3, PS2. You can actually download it for the Xbox 360 live console, but this is the only one that actually has the Hero Edition. If you remember back in the days of Street Fighter 2, you had different Champion Edition, Turbo Edition. Well, this is the Hero Edition of this one, so it added a few more graphics, it added a few more characters. The load time on this one is the fastest out of all of the systems currently right now. It's even faster than the original Neo Geo version of it, which is also a console base. But it's a very good version right now. Currently this one is sold out, so I know a lot of people ask, you know, where to find it. Just keep a lookout on your local arcade importers, Corn Up Express, NeoAmusement.com, sites like that. I'll have it in, but it'll sell out very quick. Now, needless to say, all of these arcade units here, none of this is cheap. I mean, needless to say, when you're dealing with arcade hardware, you're going to pay a premium unless you can find a good special or somebody selling on a forum here or there. So if you're expecting to pay the same price you would for a 360 or a PlayStation 3, it's just not going to happen. But the trade-off is, once you put this inside of a super gun or an arcade unit, you're getting the quality as it was meant to be played. No load times, no degradation of the sprites. Just as the arcade or the creators meant it to be played, you're playing it right then. Of course, I didn't mention, but this is a JAMA connection as well. Now, next to this little device right here, this is my smaller super gun. And as I said before, a super gun is what allows you to take one of these arcade units and plug it in through this connector right here. Here's my JAMA connector right here, and output that directly to my television. On this one right here, this super gun, you notice we have our composite right here. It has several, the red and black is your test and cone buttons. This one right here is actually the power connector. I don't have it plugged in right now. We have adjustment for red, green, and blue as far as your color scheme. And it is using, as far as connectivity, it is using the same connectors as a Neo Geo controller. The advantage of this is, when you're using that, you can find Neo Geo controllers just about anywhere. You can get the CD version, CD pad. There's the connector right there. You can go on eBay or some other sites and actually just get you a little arcade stick that uses the same connector. Or of course you can use the original Neo Geo pads, the 4-button pads that actually came with a Neo Geo. So getting a stick or a super gun that uses that connection gives you a lot of variety, a lot of flexibility as far as how you want to play your games. Now the reason I would use this little one right here is because there'll be times I just want to sit back in my lounging chair, play the games without actually standing up. As I showed you in video 1, the Vega Jr., of course, is a huge unit. It was made for 2 people. It has the weight and stability for 2 people. So generally, if you're playing this, you're standing up, or you have this on a countertop where 2 people can play together. So definitely, it's heavy, and you don't want this sitting in your lap. So this one also, I didn't mention before, has a built-in power supply. It's actually a power supply in there. And the advantage of that is, for some arcade games, such as that Naomi right there, it uses a lot of power. So, for instance, if I was to plug that Naomi into the smaller super gun right there, it literally would not have enough power to boost the game, the Naomi system, and output video to our television. And when I would load that, it would simply just stop. It just doesn't have enough power for it. It wasn't made to handle the power of the Naomi. However, if I plug it into this one right here, the Vega Jr., loads up very quick and easy, flawless game construction, and everything like that. Now, one thing you have to be aware of if you guys are deciding on if you want to get into arcade gaming is that some arcade games, such as Capcom games, are wired for a 6-button output. Some, such as the Neo Geo or the PGM, they are wired for a 4-button output. So you may have to do some changing up on your wire, on your harness, and of course, a lot of that stuff, I won't go into it right now, but there are detailed videos out there on how to do that. The forums, everyone's very helpful. So just go to like neogeo.com, Sega Naomi.com, any of those sites like that, and you'll be finding people who are willing to help you set up your system right there. So this was just part 2. I will probably come back with a part 3 on breaking down, maybe playing one of these systems to show you how it works. I'll probably show you a lot with this one right here, since it's a customized system right here, and show you some Neo Geo games I have to go with that. But other than that, this was part 2. Always, feedback is always welcome. If you have your own system set up, feel free to post a follow-up, and see you guys later.